Hey there, coffee lovers and internet explorers. Welcome back to SipCyber, where I'm on a quest for two things: the perfect cup of coffee and the simplest way to keep your digital life safe. Last night started with live music and ended with someone chasing me through a parking lot holding a coffee popsicle, which honestly is a pretty good night. I was at Surly Festival Field in Minneapolis with my friend Alana. She's one of my Ava Brothers friends, someone I originally met in the Upper North parking lot at Red Rocks in Colorado. I know, you've heard it before, but here's the thing, we're the best people. We were there last night to see Young the Giant and Cold War Kids, which, by the way, if you ask Alana, she thought they were We Might Be Giants. It's all okay. And Surly had its usual collection of food trucks lined up, and one of them was Misfit Coffee. I ended up talking with several people from their team, telling them about SipCyber because it's so fun, and trying one of the strangest coffee combinations I've ever ordered: cold brew and lemonade and honey. I know, those three things do not sound like they belong together, but they absolutely do. It was so good. Then we started walking away, and one of the guys from Misfit came running after me, legit. He said, wait, you have to try this. And he had a latte popsicle for me. Also crazy, also amazing. And today, I'm actually headed to Misfit Coffee itself in Minneapolis while I'm in town for another meeting. There was something about Misfit that caught my attention. When I went looking them up, I saw this idea of thinking about the long-term sustainability of the business instead of simply charging as much as possible right now. They were actually lowering their prices. I loved that because there's something really powerful about making a small decision today based on what you want life to look like later. And that brought me back to something we talked about in the very first episode of SipCyber: freezing your credit. I want to revisit it because I've had many conversations with people on those really bad days. Someone has opened a credit card in their name or added someone to their credit card that they already have. Someone's taken out a loan. Money is missing. Their identity has been used, and now they're trying to figure out how to clean everything up. And somewhere in that conversation, I'll ask, was your credit frozen? And I always hear that long pause, and then, I think so. But here's the thing. If your credit is actually frozen, it becomes much harder for someone to open new credit in your name. A credit freeze tells the 3 credit bureaus, well, technically 4, not to release your credit file for a new credit application until you say otherwise. And there are 4 places I want you to know about: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and Innovis. Innovis is a little different from the big 3. It isn't one of the 3 nationwide credit bureaus most lenders traditionally use for credit scores, but it maintains consumer credit information too. So when I freeze mine, I always include Innovis. The best part is that freezing your credit does not mean your credit is stuck forever. You can thaw it. Let's say you're buying a car and the dealership needs to run your credit. Ask them one simple question: which credit bureau are you going to use? If they say Experian, you can temporarily thaw Experian. That's it. You don't need to open everything back up. You can then manage your freezes online. But personally, I like using the phone. I call the bureau and use the automated system. The important part isn't whether you use the website or the phone. The important part is doing it, and not just for yourself. Think about your parents, your kids. Think about the people you care about who probably aren't applying for a new credit today or buying a new house or getting that cabin or that boat and have absolutely no reason to leave that door standing wide open. Help them freeze theirs too. Because a credit freeze is a really long-term decision. It adds a little friction on the rare day when you legitimately need someone to access your credit, but that small inconvenience can make a stolen social security number or other personal information much less useful to someone trying to open an account in your name. Maybe that's why Misfit's philosophy stuck with me. Sometimes the better decision isn't the one that makes everything easiest right this second. Sometimes you accept a tiny bit of inconvenience today because you're thinking about what protects you tomorrow. And apparently, sometimes you trust the Misfits when they tell you that lemonade belongs in your cold brew, because they just might be right. Thanks for joining me today on this trip to Surly Festival Field and Misfit Coffee, and for taking one small step to secure digital life. Until then, stay safe, stay human, and keep sipping.